What's going on, guys? Rich Schnyderite right here from the Night Report. I'm joined by Chris Nalwasky. Chris, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Rich, man? How you doing, man? Season's over now, so
Yeah, it's kind of sad. There's not much. I guess we're gonna have to start talking a little more hoops, but let's do a quick recap of this season. Just give me your overall thoughts. Did you obviously projected 3 wins? They got 3 wins. Did you think it was going to be those 3 wins?
I didn't. I picked Michigan State to. I beat them to beat Michigan State, and then I forget the other two to be honest. Well, I had them beating Northwestern in the ninth game, so I was totally off on that. But in general, honestly, this team, I didn't really have any other expectations going into the year. Obviously, crazy year with the pandemic. There's no practices really. There was, they had all the protocols that do every day. So they did. Honestly, the team did a really good job. Kind of making it through. And again, they're one of two teams in the Big Ten to play all their games, which is a huge accomplishment. You see teams across the nation postpone or cancel. They got beat up as the year went on. 9 games, 9 weeks. Injuries piled up, but honestly, they made it through. They played well. They made strides on offense. I'm sure we'll talk about that more later, but they just played well. The culture is set. Guys honestly are coming back that we didn't expect to come back. So that's obviously huge going forward too. So yeah, man. What about you?
I don't think I projected. I think I got actually projected 2. I got the Michigan State one right, and then I think I picked either. I kind of gave myself a little leeway here. I said either one of Illinois, nope. Maryland, nope, and I forget who the third one was. I think it was Michigan actually, or someone. I can't recall correctly. I know it wasn't Purdue, so I can tell you that much. Yeah, I don't think they played bad at all. I think it's a very intriguing team. Gleason definitely got a little tricky here and there, maybe too tricky at times, but at the same time, they don't have the talent or the players that they need to fit this offensive scheme in order for Gleason to succeed. You throw in the fact that the quarterback's injured. I think Vedral missed 2 games, 3 if you count the one he started and got injured. I don't know if you count that technically, but whatever. Sikowski did okay, filled in. He did nicely. I was looking at the PFF grades before. They're better. They're a lot better. All 3 quarterbacks are a lot better than last year. Now the downside, all 3 running backs are worse than last year. The run blocking was atrocious all year long. However, we kind of figured that was going to happen with the offensive line being struggle city last year, pretty much. And then this season they looked a lot better in pass blocking. They mixed and matched a couple guys. I think Reggie Sutton finally found his home at right guard. I think that's going to be the one mainstay next year. I think O'Neal still stays at left tackle. Felter's got to be the full-time starter now at one of the guard spots. So I guess left guard for him. And then there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. You kind of just hinted at it before. Fadakasi coming back, a little bit of a surprise considering I don't know how much more he can improve that draft stock, but we'll talk more on that stuff later. Brendan White's gone. Does Nick Crimmin come back at center? Maybe. Does Bo Melton come back? I'd probably say yes, but
That's
a hard one. I mean, 600 and something yards. I don't think he's drafted. I don't think he'll get a draft grade. He'll go get a draft grade technically, but I don't think he'll get a good draft grade. I think he's coming back. I think with one more year, if he puts up another 600, 700, 800 yard season maybe next year with another better quarterback, better O-line, yeah, I think you have a good shot at getting drafted. Other than that, I'm trying to think the other seniors. The one question mark that I really don't know if he'll come back is Dwumfor. He's been through a lot of injuries. He got injured at Michigan a couple years in a row, I believe. Then he came here, got injured again. Now it's like, do you want to put your body through that one more year? Maybe, because I think he has NFL potential, but I don't know. I don't know if he comes back or not. I think that's a big question mark for that line, and I think that's kind of why they added Efine J. So it's hard to figure out. I found out how to pronounce it correctly, but it took me a little bit. But yeah, so I think that's kind of why you added him. He was 2019 All American Conference first team. Jeez, it's a mouthful. But he's a heck of a player. I mean, I think adding him, you add more depth. I think that interior defensive line next year, should Julius Turner most likely come back, I would guess. If Dwumfor comes back, you have J, you have Ahana too. You have Island Burke, who had a sack in the last game. That defensive line is going to be stacked, and I'm actually very excited to see what Panagos can do with them with a whole nother season under his belt. But
No doubt.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know where you want to start. You want to just start with? I kind of went over all little bits and pieces of it all, but
yeah.
I guess let's start with offense. What do you think about Sean Gleason after year one?
Yeah, honestly, he got the most out of the players that he possibly could, to be honest. I knew they kind of had the talent. I knew once they got better coaching, it would make a difference, but I didn't think it would make this much of a difference. I asked Shiano about it today about the improvements, and he even said they made strides. I know we got a little PDF of like improvements and stuff like that. Let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, the biggest one. I don't know if it's on there or not, but going from 5 points per game in Big Ten play in 2019 to 26 points per game.
Yeah.
You went from the 129th ranked offense in the country to the 80th ranked. I don't care who you are. Give Sean Gleason that Broyles Award right now. That's incredible. The fact that you made these players made this. It just goes to show you like how bad of a coaching staff Ash had here. There was some, and I don't know. I said it when McNulty was here. I think his offense was ancient. I think you need those big uglies up front in order to run it.
Yeah.
Never had those, and I don't think you'll ever have the big uglies up front anymore. I think it's more of a fast-paced offense in college football nowadays, so you kind of get the athletic lineman. But the fact that he turned them 49 spots in offensive rating or offensive points per game, jeez, I don't know. I love that. I just love the fact that turned around so much.
Yeah. And going back to the 26.7 points a game in the Big Ten was the most they've ever had against Big Ten competition. They scored 20 points in 8 games a year after reaching the mark 5 times in the previous 4 seasons. It's crazy.
These numbers are so bad from the past.
Yeah. They averaged 300 yards per game in the Big Ten, first time since 2015. It goes on and on, honestly. Bo Melton was, really he really broke out this year. As I just said, he kind of lived up to his 4-star billing that he had coming out of high school. He was really dynamic with the ball. They got it to him in many ways. He made tough catches. He wasn't just, a streak vertical guy. He did a little bit of everything. Honestly, like you said, the run blocking did struggle. I kind of felt like Isaiah Pacheco kind of as soon as he got the ball, he just kind of went outside basically every play to me compared to the other running backs. I don't know if that was by design or that's just how he wanted to run the ball this year. But obviously he still ran angry. He's still, still a powerful, fast dude. So honestly, the offense just improved a whole lot. I think Shannon didn't really talk about it today much about the quarterbacks. I'm sure they'll try and add someone through the portal coming up. But Noah Vedral, he was a warrior out there. Art improved under Gleason. He talked about that the other day, how much Gleason helped him improve. He still has his issues, staring down receivers or throwing into coverage with like 4 guys there. But he improved a lot better. He looked more comfortable to me, honestly. No,
I think there's no question Noah Vedral is the best one in that group. I think the offense flows much better under him. He doesn't do what Art does. Art still makes that stupid decision where he just stares down one wide receiver. I think I don't remember if it was Gary Nova or Laviano. One of them stared down Carew like every time.
Probably both, but mostly Gary.
Yeah, of course. But that's his biggest flaw, man. If he could just that, and there's some decision making too. Because you saw the first play of the game last week against Maryland, and he 50-yard bomb. Bo Melton's like, holy, he's pretty good. He's pretty decent. Then I think it was that same exact drive. Shameen Jones cutting across the middle, threw behind him.
Yeah.
Wide open Shameen Jones, maybe 8 yards in front of you. Completely thrown in the wrong direction. And it's like, Art, what's going on here? How do you go from –
I don't put a blame on that one, but yeah.
I mean, I guess it's tough. You don't really know what the route was technically or where he was supposed to go, whatever. But, like, come on, man. Like, you're wide out. How do you go from 50-yard, accurate as hell bomb to incomplete 6-7 yard pass. I don't know, but I think without question, Vedral is that guy. He's the best one in the room. I'm eager to see Evan Simon next year. I don't think he'll be ready yet. I still think he's still young. He's still going to have to adjust a little bit. We know for a fact that they're going in the portal and they're at least showing interest in guys. So it kind of tells you that they definitely want another guy in that room at least to compete with Vedral and Sikowski and Simon and Schneider. And I actually think you'll see one of them transfer this offseason. I think there's a lot of them. There's probably too many, but I don't know. It's interesting. And going back to the Pacheco thing, I don't get what happened this year. He just didn't run the same way. I mean, he still broke a couple big ones here and there, like the 33-yarder against Maryland. But yeah, you were saying a lot of designed, maybe not designed, maybe it was on whatever. A lot of outside runs for Pacheco, and I just don't think he succeeds with that at all. Don't get me wrong, you want to get him in space, but if you notice most of his big run plays against Michigan last year, against Maryland this year, I forget who else against this year, but they're all inside runs. He's just breaks a couple tackles and he's gone.
It goes back to what you said about the run blocking too, that especially the inside run blocking, there was no holes for anybody. So
that's another thing. It's hard to run on the inside when the interior doesn't make a push whatsoever. So we'll see what happens there. I think they're gonna definitely try to add a guard and or center or both if possible. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if Crimmin comes back. I think it's his 5th year this year, so it's kind of like, do you want to come back a 6th year? Do you have a shot at the NFL? Maybe. That's a very big maybe, but I mean, do you want to put your body through another year of that too? So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Defense. I know they looked good. I know everyone's going to hate me for this, but some of these numbers I found today are bad, like really bad. Rutgers gave up the most plays of 10 plus, 20 plus, and 30 plus yards in the Big Ten this season, tied for the most plays of 40 plus yards. So I get it. There's injuries. You lost your starting safety and Brendan White for about 4 or 5 games. You lost Fadukasi for a couple games. You lost Fogg for a couple games. You lost Dunfor for 2 games, 3 games. I forget what it was.
9 games in 9 weeks.
It's that you're definitely going to lose guys. You're going to get banged up. But man, 10 worst defense in the Big Ten when it comes to 10 plus, 20 plus, 30 plus, and then tied for 40 plus. You are giving up too many big chunk plays there. And I'm actually a little shocked that Schiano. I mean, we don't know actually because we never asked him technically, but.
Right.
I'm a little shocked he didn't like rip Rob Smith a new one or even take over play calling at some point. I know he's a little more lenient this year or under regime part 2, right. 2.0, whatever you want to call it. But I don't know. Some of those numbers are they're bad. So I don't know if you want have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they give. I know the run defense in general was improved, but they did give up a lot of chunk plays like that, like you mentioned. A lot of that has to go with lack of quality depth right now. They obviously building the program. They'll get better, as the years go on. But the one thing I did want to mention, they got, I think they got like 10 more takeaways than they did last year in less games, which is insane. They had, what is it, like 8 or 6 or whatever it was the first game against Michigan State. Like they basically almost got their season total last year in one game, which is insane. That's a big reason why they won that game. But yeah, I mean, they have a lot of tackles for loss. Olakunle Fatukasi played extremely well this season, was, the leaders on average in tackles this season at one point. I'm not sure if it still is. He didn't really.
No, I think he's like 8 or 9 or something.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, the corners play well. Trey Avery really played well this year. Avery Young was solid. Christian Izing was a ball hawk. But collectively, I think the defense does needs some changes in terms of like the play calls and the scheme, like you mentioned. So it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. But as they get, the players that Schiano really wants the system, they only get better, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think it's actually gonna be interesting next year. So you're returning Fatukasi, which is a huge return.
That was a huge pass too. So
yeah, I don't think he can do any better than what he did this year. Like I think that's what was it, 100 tackles or something, 90 something?
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure he wants to play with his brother. I mean, I wish we get to talk to him.
Oh, yeah.
But
So
his brother's there, his cousin's coming in, so.
yeah, so he had 91 total tackles, 9.5 for loss, 3 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, forced fumble. The next closest guy had 65 tackles, and that's Izian. Like, I don't know if you could top the year you just had. So it's like, maybe he got a bad draft grade. Maybe that's why he's coming back. But at the same time, like, can you get a better draft grade? I don't know. I don't think so. I think you're not peaked, but yeah, no, I think he's peaked in college. But he's a very good player, heck of a player. I mean, Rutgers is of course going to take him back in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no.
I'm assuming Tyshawn Fogg probably comes back another year. He had a couple games where he was dinged up, but he showed up pretty well. He actually stood out this past game. I forget what his exact numbers were.
He made a tough tackle on the goal line.
Yeah, I forget. Oh yeah, to stop the well, I guess they eventually scored, but
yeah,
to stop Nebraska's quarterback. I keep saying Maryland. I just realized I was talking about Nebraska this entire time, this past weekend. But whatever. Yeah. There's too many red and white teams in Big Ten. I hate it. I hate it so much. Whatever. Yeah, no, he had 11 tackles, 1.5 for loss, 1 sack. Yeah, he had a very good game. And if he's healthy next year, put him up there. Put Fadukasi, and then you still got to figure out that third spot. That third spot's what's killing Rutgers right now.
Yeah, Max Williams has been kind of hit or miss this year.
He had a good game this past week, but like you said, hit or miss. So some people have him. I mean, not to some people. He's had some good games. He's had some bad games. He's it is what it is. You kind of hope like maybe a Tyrene Powell can step up next year, or the one guy I'm really high on is Zakudu Igwenagu.
Same.
Another mouthful, but he's a heck of a player. He's lengthy. He's tall. He kind of reminds me of a lengthier Tyrene Powell. He's learning the linebacker position still. I know he played DB or safety in high school, but he could be one. I still think Touré's still a year or two from development. He's still going to be that pass rusher role. Led the team in sacks, so I mean, he'll still be that third down guy. Who else? I'm trying to think. I thought by now Drew Singleton would kind of step up a little more, but he's still getting there. He's still getting his feet under him and everything. Who else? Linebacker. I think that's kind of it. I think.
It's all young guys after that.
Yeah, DBs. It's going to be the same 3 for the most part. I assume Trey Avery returns. I don't see why he wouldn't. Brendan White's gone to the NFL or whatever NFL draft. Izian's probably going to remain at the other spot. I don't see a way Elijah Clark's not the starter. I know we just talked about this, but kid's phenomenally good. He immediately, if he's not a starter, he's going to play significant snaps from day one.
Yeah, you can't keep it off the field, so it'll most likely be them too.
Yeah, and then Najee Jones, he looks decent. Doesn't look bad at all. I don't remember if he was a senior or not. I can't remember correctly. I know.
Say junior. I know he missed the 1 year last. Was that last year, 2 years ago? But
2 years ago, because he played in 2019.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess he has technically actually this year 2 more years technically. So he'll be a redshirt junior again in 2021 and then 2022 if he wants to stay for his 6th year. If I did the math right. He'll be a redshirt senior.
He flashed. He actually surprised me a good amount. I didn't think that he would play as well as he did, but he did a good job blitzing. He tackled well, so that's all you can ask for.
But if we learned anything this year, it's good to have depth back there. They had a preferred walk-on playing at one point. They had a converted wide receiver playing at one point. So it's just that you need as much depth as possible. And Chiano kind of hinted at that in the presser. You need guys at every position. It doesn't matter. Quarterback, O-line, D-line. And they're building. Linebackers got it. D-line's got it. That's about it.
I think receiver. Too,
you could argue receiver. I think cornerback's getting there. I still think they need 1 or 2 more guys. That's where I'll be intrigued to see if a couple guys come back, like Donald Williams. I know Darius Gooden's at safety now too. I'm intrigued to see if
is that corner now.
That's a interesting one because all we ever hear is about how Fran and Coach Giano love these long, lengthy corners, and you're going to put a 5 5'10" longer beam, 5'11" maybe on a good day.
I mean, he was his highlight reel in high school was was electric. I mean, he's fast, so maybe that might
Yeah.
have something to do with it, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. And then Chris Long's back there too. Yeah, they got look, and we saw, like I said, preferred walk on Joe Lasardi was playing some safety, so I wouldn't be shocked to see him in the future. Yeah, no, I mean a good little team. And one guy I actually forgot to mention on that D line, Aaron Lewis had a very good year for the limited snaps he played. He looked dominant, and there was a late transfer find, and I think a lot of people don't talk about him at all. But it is cool to see this defensive line because you have Michigan transfer, Boston College, or not Boston College, Minnesota transfer. Actually, yeah, there's a Boston College transfer. Yeah, it's cool to see. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I like seeing stuff like that. But
yeah, I want to mention Mike Tverdev too. He really played well this year. I talked to him the other day, and he said he really thrived this year. He played his best ball near the end of the year. He said, I'm gonna write an article soon, but he mentioned he played more free near the end of the year, and he really just had fun, and he had like three sacks maybe, I think it was, against Maryland.
Yeah.
So that's huge, and he has the motor. He's only going to get better. So
yeah, I mean, it definitely showed that he was like you said. He said he plays more free, or he played differently for sure. I think these past 2 weeks, stats wise alone, that 3-sack game, and I think he had another one this past week against Nebraska. I'm not 100% sure on that though. But let me pull that up real quick.
The defense, I don't know. The team played well this season under all the circumstances. So.
Pretty crazy going into week 8 against Maryland. Before the game, he had no sacks, and then all of a sudden, he's second on the team in sacks to end the season. So it's like,
there you go.
It's good year. He looked good. Let's see what we got. A couple. What else? Special teams.
Yeah, Valentino Ambrosio.
See your kicker next year?
Out of nowhere and stole the heart of Shanna.
Yeah, he just. I think he might have secured that job now for next season, which is pretty crazy because we saw him miss a couple early on, and we're like, oh, geez, here we go. Yeah. Between him, we're like, oh, why? First it was Guy Fava, then Guy Fava came out. Or actually, first it was Davidovitz, we thought was the starter. Then Guy Fava came in, and we're like, all right, cool. Guy Fava won the job. Let's see what he does.
Right.
Yeah, not bad. I don't even think he missed a kick.
No, he didn't.
I think he just got replaced. He just got replaced.
Yeah.
And then Valentino came in and missed 1 or 2, and everyone's like, oh, geez, here we go.
Yeah.
Kicker roulette. Let's go back to Fava. Let's go back to Valentino. Valentino came back, and Valentino, some of his kicks, they had some pretty good distance on him, too. I think he had a 44, 42-yarder or whatever it was.
Well, I think he made 3 42-yarders this season.
Yeah, and I think against Nebraska.
The clock ran down against Maryland, too, which, I just thought that was like a crazy play. I asked him about it, too. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, against Nebraska, even they had some good height, good distance on him. I'm like, all right, maybe this kid can do it. So he's coming into his own a little bit. I still think they might hit the recruiting trail for like a preferred walk-on kicker, just because, like, why not take one? It's a walk-on. So I mean, just someone to challenge him a little bit. We don't know if Davidovitz will be back. We don't know if Guy Fava will be back. I think we don't know if Valentino will be back either, but it looks like he will be. I'm intrigued to see if he goes back to the soccer team.
Yeah.
Too. Because I guess you could do both. I mean, there's nothing stopping you. And Shiano's very open to 2 sports, it seems, between recruiting Taiwan Malone, baseball and football, Keontae Hamilton, wrestling and football. So, yeah.
I guess the only thing about soccer, it's the same. I believe it's the same season. So.
Does it? I am not even 100% sure. You might be right.
So. But, I mean, yeah, he played well. So he hasn't played football since he was in high school, but he really kicked well, to be honest. So I remember Shannon talking about how he'd like when he kicks the ball, it just has that sound, So I mean, he won the job, and he kicked, he kicked well. So
yeah,
and I can't forget about our boy Adam Korsak.
Oh, of course, Adam
he had another fantastic season. He obviously didn't get to punt as much as the last couple of years, which is honestly a good thing. But his averages were about the same. Everything was about the same. He got his first fake punt the other day. He got to run it for I think it was 17 yards. So that was just good to see. And I hope he gets to go home soon and see his family. He hasn't been home in like over a year basically. So
yeah, that's what Shannon kind of was talking about. It's nice to see all the guys packing up, going home, all that stuff. Yeah, no, he had a heck of a year. He looked good. The intriguing part I thought was Zach Fiegels was number 2, and it was the holder too, obviously.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what he can do, and I'm intrigued to see what the future kind of holds with that position. I know it's well, we kind of posted it before on the boards. If you don't have the TKR Premium, you can sign up now for free actually, and you get free access until February. But we posted the other day, everything we've been hearing, Corsack's coming back. Not a shock, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that rugby style will kind of work in NFL, but I don't see why not.
Yeah, there's not. I don't really think there really is anything like that in the NFL that they do. So
It's mostly just the height and power guys, but yeah, I think he
this
could
is
give it a
easy, man.
shot.
It works. I don't understand why they don't. It works.
Yeah, it's those crazy bounces that they have
Yeah.
off that ball. It's
I
just,
always call him a wizard, man. I don't know. He
yeah.
always
No,
says like he always says it's luck, but I don't know, man. He's doing
it's the what John Newman call him, the assassin.
something. Yeah,
That's you got to trademark that one. Someone's got to trademark it. That's too good of a nickname. Yeah, he looked good, and then Cruikshank is Janarian Grant Part 2. So no surprise. I mean, I think we all kind of expected that. He's not as good as a receiver as I thought, but he's a heck of a kick return guy. He's 2 this year.
2, yep.
Yeah, and then
Big Ten
I think Bo,
best list of the year. So
yeah, two kick returns for him. I think Bo had a punt return.
Bo had the punt on like the
lateral, the crossfield lateral, yeah, which is kind of cool too. I kind of like that. But adding Joshua Youngblood too, who's Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Year. Damn, this special.
Right?
If you're Adam Shire right now, you have to be excited to work with these guys. And then yeah, it's gonna be that 2-headed monster back there. I have a feeling you're gonna see a lot more touchbacks next season.
Or
I think
either that or kick it to
just squib it at this point. Yeah, at that point, what do you even do? Going against
you can have Bo Mellon on the third row or whatever, in the middle of the field or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it's. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm actually intrigued to see if I never understood why they use Cruikshank as a kick returner, not a punt returner.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Bo's definitely good at it, but he didn't really get that many shots. It kind of looked like they switched to Avery Young a little bit too. I'm intrigued to see if they use a Youngblood back there because he does have a couple punt returns at Kansas State, so it makes sense. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for football. Coaching changes, I don't see any at the moment. The one I could see is I hate to even speculate on it. I'm not even going to actually.
Yeah, no.
It does look like they're gonna, most of them, if not all of them, are gonna come back. The only reason they would leave, I think, is for a higher position and probably more pay somewhere else. But yeah, it looks
it'll
like
be good to get Jim Panagos back soon. From
yeah.
Charlie Newton and Jamal Westman did a good job, but I'm sure all the players looking forward to having Panagos back with them.
Oh, of course, yeah. They got a couple good guys coming in too. This recruiting class was what, 31, 32, something like that.
31, yeah. Last time I looked. Yeah.
So I forgot to check. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty good team, and then yeah, I guess that's kind of it for football. I don't know if you want to talk some hoops real quick before.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, number 11. So the AP poll, new AP poll just came out a little while ago, about an hour and a half ago. We're recording this, breaking the fourth wall Monday afternoon. But number 11, man, number 11. They got. I didn't think they would get make it that high right now, but they're number 11 right now.
So I'm looking at this, and I find it amazing that some of these guys have Duke ahead of Rutgers. A lot of them still have Illinois ahead of Rutgers. I take it back. I'm looking at last week's poll. Never mind. Ignore me completely. Because I was about to yell real quick because I saw a couple writers we know that had Rutgers behind Illinois.
Yeah,
but
we could check that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for the new polls to come up. But yeah, I mean, number 11. I don't think we saw that coming at all.
Right now they're third among Big Ten teams. Right now it's Iowa at 4, Wisconsin at 9, and the Rutgers at 11. Michigan State's at 12, which is insane to me.
Yeah, they dropped a lot after that loss to Northwestern. That was an ugly one. I don't know if anyone watched it, but
yeah, Northwestern is getting votes on the bottom here.
Yeah, they're sneaky. The Big Ten, like everyone's been saying, I guess Heichel's been saying it for years. Actually, the Big Ten's a dogfight every night. You're going to war every time you play a game. Purdue's getting votes, Northwestern's getting votes, Minnesota's getting votes. On top of that, Ohio State's ranked, who they take on Wednesday. Michigan's ranked. Illinois is still ranked. Michigan State's ranked. Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa. It's a stacked conference. It's kind of incredible. It is cool to see number 11 now. I mean, who they play? It's just Ohio State this week, or is there another game?
I believe they play next Tuesday after that against Michigan.
All right, so you beat Ohio State, you probably move up a little bit
maybe,
too.
Yeah.
Probably enter that top 10 conversation. I think you definitely have to beat Ohio State just to keep momentum strong going into that Purdue game. I think they should handle Purdue pretty easily at home. Then the big test: can they stop Luka Garza?
Mm-hmm.
And then the worst part is that you play Luka Garza in Iowa on the 2nd. 3 days later, you head out to Michigan State to take on the Spartans, who are just as good.
Yeah, that's a huge. It's a big test right now. But I mean, every game in the Big Ten is a big test. So.
Yeah. I'm interested. We actually talked about this the other day. Gio's got to step it up a little bit. Ron's playing lights out. Jacob carried that. I don't care what anyone says. Jacob carried that team throughout that first half there. And I know we talked about, I think you had Miles as the player of the game versus Illinois. But I really do think that Jacob carried that team throughout that first half and held it together. Montez looks good minus his couple missed dunks. The one was it would have been such a nice dunk, and he just back of the rim.
I was thinking about it, man. If there were fans there, like I think the roof would have actually fell off. Like I don't know.
Yeah, they keep talking about it. They actually brought up the fact that Rutgers is like one of the only arenas that actually fills the entire crowd with cardboard cutouts, which is kind of cool. You see like the first couple rows of people. Right. I know what they started adding like the players get their choices of like 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 cardboard cutouts per player. You'll see parents there, you'll see loved ones and so on. That's kind of cool. You'll see the Sopranos cast.
I remember I think it was Paul McGahee who was like, I saw my grandma up there or whatever. So
it's kind of cool. I guess it kind of gives you that feeling that there's still people there. We know that little Eisner Amper VIP section's got like Quincy Doobie and Todd Frazier. It's got it's got the Sopranos.
Yeah.
the whole thing is it's funny. I kind of hope they keep it up and keep changing it. It's neat. It's different. But again,
the team is playing really well right now. I think the one thing that I'm concerned about personally is how, like, obviously the players that are playing now, they're phenomenal, but I'm worried about the depth right now because the freshmen haven't really played at all other than Cliff, and he just got hurt. We're not sure if he's going to miss any time or anything, but I think that the freshmen have to step up soon. I know they didn't have as many games in the non-conference kind of warm up to the Big Ten season as we talked about, as I wrote about, but I think they'll definitely need them because the season obviously is unpredictable. The year is unpredictable. And I think they're going to need them to step up at some point. So,
yeah, obviously Ron's carrying the way for the most part. It looks like, and they're kind of like depending on him a lot actually. I don't know who steps up. I think you'll see Gio step up. I think Jacob's already stepping up.
Sure.
Montez steps up. Yeah, I'll give him that.
He had 15 points there. He quietly has like double-digit points.
Yeah, he's having a very good year. Who else? I know they're missing Caleb so bad. Caleb would be perfect for this team. And Miles stepping up big time defensively, especially. I'm trying to think. Cliff. I think Cliff will be fine. He was on a bike after the game or during the game, so that tells me that it's not that bad. It's probably just working out some kind of muscle that he sprained or something. I'm assuming it looked like a sprain just based off the whole clip that we saw on Twitter and all that. Didn't look too bad. The fact that he's walking around on the sideline still is a good sign. The bike, great sign. I think he plays. I don't know if he starts though.
Yeah. I would let him come off the bench. I'm so surprised he's still starting right now.
totally shocked because I mean it's working. So don't mess with anything that's working. So you just kind of keep that lineup the same. Even though he is starting, I'm pretty sure the minutes split is still pretty close. Like
Oh yeah,
Miles is
Miles definitely has more minutes, I believe.
actually Miles averages more minutes, so it doesn't really matter, I guess, who starts. It's just
I think it has to do with saving Miles, like in terms of fouls.
yeah.
So he doesn't, like he used to always pick up fouls like right away. So I think that's a big way to not, because obviously he's a huge piece of the team. So
I mean, you know what's crazy? People keep talking about how Miles is fouling less. He's technically averaging the most fouls in his career.
is he really?
Yeah,
wow.
He got 2.8 this year. His
Huh.
freshman year was 2.7 and dropped it down to 2.5, and it's at 2.8 right now. They're always going to get big men for fouls, though. They're going to get those ticky-tacky fouls no matter what. Yeah, but I mean, keeping him out, just having depth there for a change is nice. And then we don't know, honestly, what happens if Cliff can't go. Who's the number 2 big? Is it Mamadou? Is it you go Dean Ryber and go a little bit different?
Right.
If you want to get extremely creative, which I would love to see a small ball lineup with Ron at the 5. It's not crazy anymore. After seeing PJ Tucker 6'6" and Robert Covington 6'7" going down there and playing center for NBA teams, it's not crazy. I mean, put Ron at the 5. I don't even care who you put at the 4 at that point. Just we're not seeing any freshmen either, which is intriguing. Obviously Cliff, but Mawant Mag's injured, so I think as soon as he gets back, you'll see more of him. Oscar's still developing. Dean Ryber, he's what, the 3rd or 4th center maybe on the team, so that's still a ways to go for him. Other than that, I mean, the team, they're scoring, which is crazy to see. 51st in scoring this year compared to 212th last year. It's so add in that scoring with their defense, and
they're still playing JD, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. Illinois is a very good team. The 88 points is what it is. They're just good.
They average 88 points, and I thought Rutgers did a good job defensively against them, and they still scored 88. So
that Illinois team, I think we talked about it before the game. They just don't miss ever. They had multiple guys shooting 50% from the field. I think as a team, I'm looking at it now. Where is it? As a team, that Illinois team shoots 53.7 from the field. Yep. That's shit. They're shooting 45 from 3. That's the 2nd best in the country. So you kind of knew they were going to have that shooting performance regardless. Dosunmu, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. He's phenomenal. He'll be in the NBA next year. Kofi will be in NBA next year.
If there wasn't the pandemic, they would both be in the NBA right now. So because they put their name in and then they went out like last minute. So
yeah, they said Kofi kind of came back. Well, I mean, Dosunmu could have got drafted. Kofi, I question just because he can't do much other than playing the paint. So he's definitely developing a little more. I think he's actually shooting a little bit further, and he's getting there. Like even now, they still have him projected as a late 2nd rounder. Okay. It's not the same NBA anymore. It's so different. I don't think people understand that. Like most people, like even reading the boards, like we got in like a couple. Well, I did at least. I got in a couple of disputes between people in the NBA talk with Ron, and some people are saying Jacob can make it, and there's just no offense to them. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
It's a different NBA. That's why Kofi, who's dominant as could be in college, is projected in the 2nd round, mid to late 2nd round.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy. It's just not the same NBA. Like I just said before, they're playing 6'7" forwards, 6'6" forwards at the center position. It's all about who can score more, and it's the easiest way, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and even some of these small guys are good rebounders too. Like I'm looking now, they have Kofi at number 55 in this one on NBA Draft.net, and Dosunmu is number 30 overall. So I think he'll move up his stock a little. I think Kofi's probably stays in that mid to late round. But regardless, we're talking too much about Illinois. I'm talking too much about Illinois.
Yeah.
But
if you want to talk NBA draft stuff, we got Ron Harper Jr. making some noise.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think
spot up shooting, catch and shoot is just crazy this year.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. People like I have a couple of friends that watch college basketball religiously, and they're all like, "Nah, Ron's too slow." And I'm like, "He's not too slow." They're like, "He's too small." And I'm like, "No, like there's Draymond Green." I hate to do the comparison because he's not Draymond Green, obviously,
Right.
but Draymond Green's 6'6". Ron Harper Jr.'s 6'7", maybe.
I think he's listed at 6'6", but it's about the same.
Yeah, so he's 6'6", 330. Ron's 6'6". I don't know what he's listed at. 6'6", 245. It's not like you have to be like this tall guy anymore to just play in the NBA. If he could shoot the way he's been shooting and play defense the way he's ranked one of the top big defenders for a reason, like he's good. Like he could make it. And I think on top of that, with his name, it's definitely going to help. Just the fact that his dad was a multi-year NBA player, NBA vet, whatever you want to call it.
NBA champion.
NBA champ. Yeah, you could say that too. But yeah, I don't see it. I don't know if he'll go this year. I guess it really depends. If he keeps these numbers up, he's shooting 60% from the field. He's shooting 52.5 from three. He keeps these up. I mean, he's going to play himself into that first round talk. So we'll see what happens, but he's doing well. Jacob's doing well. I'm intrigued by next year's team. I'm really, really intrigued by next year's team. I know this year, obviously, they have a very good team. I don't know who comes back, who doesn't.
It's like football. You're not sure who comes back,
Yeah. If they can get Gio and Jacob to come back, they'll have a very good team again next year, because I think a lot of people don't understand the hype behind Jaden Jones because he doesn't have that senior year of high school to play.
Right.
He's just sitting out training and everything, but the kid's good. The kid's really good. And he's going to be that shooter that I shouldn't say they don't have, but they do kind of in Ron, but he's going to be that 2-3 shooting guard, small forward type that people are going to love. You're going to get Caleb McConnell back, Miles Johnson for, I think, another year, right?
I know he's applying to yeah. I mean, technically,
he's applying to grad school, so I guess technically he has that other year. We'll see what happens there. Cliff Omarui, a year stronger. Mowat Mag, a year stronger. Palmquist, a year stronger. Mulcahy looks great this year. I know he's not
good, man. Yeah, but Paul does like all the little things. I loved his game the other day too. He was fighting for rebounds. He was just in the paint, doing little things. So,
our buddy Dan, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Pierre. I'm sorry, Dan. What do you call it? He posted it and he brought it up, and I started like rewatching a couple clips of the game, and he brought up a good point. Paul made Curbelo foul out 100%.
Yeah.
110%. Like he got him going pretty good. He was in the paint, going down low, like you said, fighting for boards. Paul does it all. He doesn't appear on the stat sheet as much, but I think he's a very good player. I'm intrigued to see, like, I don't want Gio to leave because I think it hurts the team, but I want to see Paul run the offense kind of. And he's kind of been doing that a little bit with Gio out, but it's he's definitely not as fast as Jacob. He brings a different skill set to the game. I saw him guarding fours at one point against Illinois.
And
that's that 6'7" build, which it helps.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I see some people on Twitter like Paul's not a point guard. Okay, he's not a point guard. I'm like, yeah, he is though. He's just
point guard. Yeah, he's
a 6'7" point guard. And then you got Caleb McConnell, who's a 6'6" point guard, shooting guard, small forward.
I think he's 6'7" too. He's just I think he's 6'7", 6'8".
Next year's length.
Maybe he grows for next year.
That's what I'm thinking. Next year's length is going to be cool to watch because you'll have. I want to see a lineup with Paul, Caleb, and Jaden Jones. That's 3, 6, 7 guys. That you're three guards, 2 guards, 1 forward, whatever you want to call it. And then you could probably put a lengthy 4 in Mowat Mag or Oscar.
Mag, talk about length. Mag's arm is like Spider-Man.
Yeah, his wingspan is incredible. Yeah, just between that could be a cool lineup actually. Now I think about it, that'd be actually a really cool lineup. That defense would be awesome. But yeah, I like what they're doing. I think the fact that they kept the coaching staff together another year is huge.
Pike always talks up his coaching staff, and that can't be understated. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, you have a top tier recruiter, Brandon Knight. You have Carl Hobbs, who's one of I think one of the best assistant coaches ever. I think you could argue with his won a couple chips at UConn, couple or one. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah,
I know he won at least one.
He was the head coach himself too. So
Head coach of George Washington.
George Washington. Yep.
Yeah. He's the reason Ray Allen went to UConn. So I mean, oops, my bad. It is he's a very good coach. And then don't underestimate Stephen Hain. He's done very good on the recruiting trail. All things considering, there was a lot of question marks when he first got hired. Why are they hiring a D3 coach of the year from I think it's Maritime College? Why are they hiring him as an assistant coach? There's so many recruiting sharks you can get, but he's done a very good job. So I mean, don't underestimate him.
This staff, not even just recruiting, they've done a phenomenal job, developing the players. Obviously, Gio was, ranked where he was, and looking at him now, he's a superb leader. He makes, he's Gio, and Ron Harper Jr. has gotten a lot better. So the staff has really developed the guys.
100%. That's why even Jacob Young, don't get me wrong, Jacob Young was a very highly touted recruit out of high school. He didn't do much at Texas at all. I don't know if he played under Shaka Smart or not, but either way, they didn't really do much with him. I think he had one season where the most I think he averaged was 7, 8 maybe.
Yeah, I know he had a couple of good games here and there.
Actually,
so he averaged not consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he averaged 3 points per game his freshman year and 6 his sophomore year. And it just goes to show you, now he's at Rutgers averaging 16 and a half. I credit that coaching staff more than anything.
No doubt.
Who else are thinking? Caleb McConnell was a last resort player. Or last resort offer, I should say. I think they offered him after Ty Strickland went elsewhere. I think that's who it was. I can't remember 100% correctly.
Right.
It was someone, but either way, they turned him into a very, very good player.
I think Miles Johnson.
Yes. I completely forgot about him.
Either. And they got him to come all the way across the country from California.
Yeah, it's incredible. They got him on a team. Everyone saw a 6'11", 7-foot center. Oh, this is great. Redshirt. What? Why the hell are you redshirting him?
Yeah, that redshirt year is done.
And it's done so much for him. And every year since, he's gotten better and better. So this guy. It's not even. I guess it's definitely talent development, but it's all play development, but also the eye for talent. You could see the talent in these guys before most people do, probably.
Yeah, actually, Pico talked exactly just about that the other day. He says his staff does a great job eyeing the talent, and then when they get here, they have a vision of where they see him in a couple years, and it's all coming to fruition with the guys.
100%, and I think that's why having a guy like Cliff, that highly rated, already has a ton of talent. I think you're just the sky is the limit for him. And I know he's struggling here and there against some taller guys. It's Kofi Coburn. There's nothing you could do against him. He's too big. He's 6'6", 11, 7 foot. Actually, he might be taller than 7 foot.
He's listed at 7 foot, 285. So
yeah, and you can't. Cliff Omarui, who's 6'10", 6'11", 240, maybe on a good day. That's on a good day, and it's just there's no shot. But he got bullied a little bit, and I think you'll see that a little more. I'm intrigued to see what they do against Garza, who they line up against him. I think Cliff could hang his own with him. I don't think Garza's that much of a defender threat, or don't get me wrong, his offensive abilities are phenomenal, but
he can shoot the ball, right? So that's what I got worried about.
But Cliff's athletic enough to the point where he can kind of move around anywhere within the arc. I know the only issue is when Garza tries to take him out of the paint. That paint's gonna be wide open, but that's where your other guy's gonna step up somewhere. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Focus on Ohio State and go from there. I just hope the hype doesn't get to their head. That's the bigger issue, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, Pleco. I don't think it does. Pleco, it says stay away from their phones. So
it's so hard though.
It's hard.
I'm not even in college anymore, and it's just
I know Jacob Young said, he was saying the other day that they're living in the moment, they're not thinking about anything else. So I think they are. I think they're honestly doing a good job staying focused. So
yeah, no, I think they'll do. I think they're going to. I hate to predict it, but I knock on wood, they should beat Ohio State. Ohio State's not that good offensively. they're a decent defensive team. Just looking quick at the stats right now. They're ranked. They're better offensively than I thought. 77 points per game, 30th offensive rating in the country. It's actually pretty spread out too. They have Dwayne Washington's technically their leader with 14, but then they have 12, another 14 points, 11 points, 7 points from Zed Key, who most of you guys are probably familiar with, former New York guy, Rutgers target at one point. Yeah, they don't look bad. You know who I just noticed is on their roster?
Mm-hmm.
Is this true? Is this the guy from Rutgers? Ibrahima Diallo? No way, right? Do you remember him?
The center?
Yeah, do you remember him?
Yeah.
Where did he go?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know if there's like multiple.
No,
names.
yeah, that's definitely wrong. Basketball Reference has it listed because it's probably the same name, but I don't think that's him. This is freshman year. But he actually played at Prolific Prep.
The Ohio State KenPom offensive efficiency rating, the number 8 in the country.
Yeah, I messed up on that. Their offense is pretty good.
Yeah.
Their offense is good. Their defense is actually decent. 65 points per game. I don't know who they've played so far. They lost to Purdue though.
I think I watched that game. I watched them against Purdue.
Beat UCLA, beat Cleveland State. Shout out Gary Waters. Beat Notre Dame. Beat Morehead State. Beat UMass Lowell. Illinois State. So they didn't really play anyone like too good yet. It's hard to get a good read on them. They're not that good at 3-point shooting, so that's a good sign for Rutgers. They're rebounding 38.6 per game, I think that said.
I think if Miles can stay out of foul trouble, he could get all the rebounds.
Yeah,
And
they got
Rutgers guards do a good job getting rebounds.
Yeah, Mulcahy, even Jacob, they all kind of fight for Montez. Yeah. I mean, Rutgers kind of dominates them when it comes to one-on-one stats. It looks like they should out rebound them, which is going to be key to that game. I don't see a dominant big, but so it's kind of cool. Like, it's incredible to see how good this Prolific Prep team was last year because Ibrahima Diallo, who's at Ohio State, their center, played for a Prolific Prep. Lot Mag at Rutgers played for Prolific Prep. Illinois' Coleman Hawkins played for Prolific Prep. That team was incredible. And then they had the number one player.
One thing about Wednesday's game too, though, it's on the road and they got all the testing and everything. So it's one thing to keep an eye on there too.
Yeah, I think finals end on Tuesday, which is a good sign for Rutgers at least. So hopefully they got all those done and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Stuff like that. Yeah, I think they should come away with this victory, and if they do, I think there's depending on who wins and loses in between number 11 and number 1, I think you could see them move up. I think it's very possible. I don't know what the point system looks like right now, actually. I should have probably checked that, but yeah, Rutgers has 878. So yeah, they're still probably they're almost 200 points behind Texas.
Okay.
Texas has 1 loss, Wisconsin has a loss, West Virginia has a loss, Villanova has a loss, Iowa has a loss, Kansas loss.
Yeah, Iowa play Gonzaga there.
Yeah, that's excusable. I'll give them that one.
It was it was a very high scoring game.
Yeah, 99-88. Gonzaga's good. Jalen Suggs is phenomenal. I don't see a way how he at this rate doesn't win Player of the Year, but I don't know. Luka Garza, another top player. That's next. I keep looking at the stats for this Ohio State team. I'm not sold on them. I think they're very, very beatable. We'll have more on that, obviously, on the boards with one of the Ohio State beat writers over at Buckeye Grove will probably help us out. Do a Q&A before Wednesday. Anything else? I think
previous stuff with all the hoops games.
Yeah, it's it's definitely hectic last week with signing day and I forget 24 bios, pain in the neck. That wasn't fun. Then a transfer happened. Then the game day for football. Then it's like, oh, basketball's here, and it's like, oh, geez. And then Illinois on Sunday, and it was a mess. It was a mess. I'm glad to can finally take a little bit break with football done.
Right.
We'll have a couple more articles, like you said, Mike Tverdov. I'm working on the pro football grades for. Actually, I'm probably gonna post them tomorrow.
Mhm.
The pro football grades from the Nebraska game. Next week, we're gonna post the top plays of the year. Anthony's going to kind of break down the schemes they ran. I think we're going to actually break down the top. We're going to do it differently this year. We're not going to do the top plays. We were talking about before. I think we're going to do top plays per quarterback.
Okay.
We're going to do top 3 from Langen, top 3 from Sikowski, top 3 from Vedral, because they all had pretty good plays.
And
I'm going to safe assumption. I'm sure most of you probably already assume this. Langen's are probably going to be run plays.
Yeah.
But
hey, he had that long pass to Adams.
Yeah, I forgot about that one actually. That might be in there actually. I don't know. We haven't talked about it that much.
One of them, it might have been like the longest play of the year for Rutgers. So
yeah. So I know next week I'm also going to post. I'm either debating next week or the first week of the new year to the PFF grades comparing 2019 to 2020. I've only gotten to halfway done. So I looked at O-line, running back, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback. Geez, the numbers just. Running backs sort of the same. It's a little lower, no surprise. Wide receivers up. Tight ends. I think tight ends went down actually. Forget what it was. Offensive line. We did overall run block and pass block. Obviously pass block.
Pass block pretty really well.
Very good. Overall though, the overall grades look better, even though the run block was But overall grades look better. The team they improved. I don't think there's one spot on this team where you could say they definitely, actually maybe running back, but that they definitely regressed from 2019. I think running back's the only one you can make an argument. Maybe tight end, just because I don't know what the heck went on with that unit this year. It just seems like obviously we know that going back, Gleason kind of doesn't use them much. He uses them as blockers, and I think that's why Keontae Hamilton is a tight end. He's 6'4", 240, something like that. That's what he's listed at. I heard a rumor he's a little bit heavier than that. We're talking like the 255 range. So probably AKA a blocker. So an extra blocker on that, which is only going to help the pass blocking. So run blocking, whatever. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. We've covered.
We'll have our what's it called, like end of the season awards coming up shortly this week too. So
yeah, that should be fun. I think we're gonna have a couple disputes there. I think.
I was thinking maybe we could do like one like mine or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that works too. We'll discuss that. I think I think special teams are gonna have that debate though. I think it's gonna be tough. I know you want Corsack. I know you want Corsack, but I don't know if I could do it.
I don't know. I was actually thinking Valentino, to be honest.
Oh, that'd be a good one too. He had a couple good games. They very clutch games, we should say.
Yes.
What else we got? I think that's kind of it.
We'll have, we talked to Shano earlier before this, so we have a bunch.
Yeah, that video's up already. Check that out. Doesn't say anything crazy. Nothing. Just kind of, hey, yeah, we're probably gonna hit the portal. That's it. We know they're gonna. What'd you say?
And they're gonna all get some rest and sleep and whatnot. So
yeah, that's definitely a key for them this year. That was weird year, very weird year. Yeah. But I don't think anyone. I mean, I shouldn't say don't think anyone because you kind of corrected or got it correctly. But I don't think many people saw 3 wins, especially those 3 wins, to be this year's Rutgers team. They 3-6.
They almost had more. They almost had more. So
that's the crazy part.
Michigan.
So you add in. Go on.
Yeah, and I was just saying they're only 1 touchdown away from Nebraska, technically. So
you 1 touchdown away from Nebraska, technically, 1 possession away from, I think it was Illinois was 1 possession, 1 possession from Michigan.
Yeah, a couple play calls and overtime in Michigan. They would have got the closer field goal. Maybe he makes it, and the game's over. So
yeah, I mean it's not as crazy to think. Plus, you add in to say they had those 3 out of conference games. Team could have had a lot of wins. Monmouth was a win. We know that. Temple, I'd argue Temple was a win. They didn't look too good this year. Syracuse looked awful this year. I think they might be like one of the worst teams in the Northeast. I don't know their exact standings. I forget what they finished, but
Yeah, right now,
never
if it was a normal year, man, right now, me and you could have been to a bowl game right now. So.
Yeah, I would have. Actually, I was actually kind of eager for that. You know what the worst part is? I was so eager to check out the NCAA tournament in person for a change.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited about that. We've seen the Big Ten tournament. Well, I've seen the Big Ten tournament in person. Did you go to?
I did not go. No, you went. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've seen Madison Square Garden.
That was cool.
That one was cool. I actually did the ACC tournament for the Duke website once. That was neat.
Yeah, I remember you said that. Yeah.
That was neat. Barclays, it's a cool setup. It's a lot nicer than Madison Square Garden for all you Knicks fans out there.
Actually, and the one thing I wanted to mention, going back to Pikel and NCAA tournament stuff. So I found out last night that my father-in-law saw Pikel play in college.
Oh, right?
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I saw a picture. He covered the NCAA tournament. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, that's we're talking a long time ago. I hate to bring it up, but
it was cool. They sent me a picture yesterday.
That's pretty neat. Yeah. I mean that's so I was going back real quick. Syracuse went 1-10. Yeah, I'll count that as a dub. So yeah, I really think so. Add those 3 wins, the 3 wins they have now, maybe flip-flop that one or two of Nebraska, Illinois, and Michigan, and it's a 7-8 win season. It's incredible.
That's wild.
And man, it's just I gotta end it on this note, but it's just incredible that Schiano turned it around with. Yeah, he added a couple transfers. I get that and all. But I brought it up to you the other day. I think it was the defense that they were running against. Not even the defense. The entire team that was playing against Nebraska at one point was basically all Chris Ash guys. It's the fact that he turned them around that quickly within a year's time span, with Dwumfour out, White out, and who else was out? I forget. There was someone else. I can't think. Yeah. But it was literally Chris Ash's lineup. Sikowski was in. Oh, Vedra was out.
Vedra was out.
Yeah. So Sikowski's in. That's Chris Ash quarterback. Chris Ash offensive line. It's everything. Everything was his guys, and it was just the fact that Schiano turned it around with them just shows you coaching does matter at the end of the day. And it also,
I mentioned to the guys on the board, I've always felt like they've had the talent, and just the coaching staff was holding them back.
Yeah, but now they're definitely missing some guys in key places. They're missing depth. That's obvious. That's more than obvious. But I think next year, let's just take a quick peek at that schedule. I know Schiano said it's not official yet, but after talking,
I'm sure. I mean, this schedule changed like 10 times. So
yeah. So I know after talking to a couple people, I'm almost 100% sure that Temple game is going to be the opener. I don't know about the rest of it. We don't know what's going to happen with the Syracuse game. There's a Delaware game technically, but that's a win. And then Syracuse, awful. If they do play them, that's a win. Hypothetically, Temple, Syracuse, Delaware, and then you play Michigan away.
At Michigan.
So it's kind of like, I'd say it's a toss-up, depending on who they get this offseason and if they get any better on offense. Could start out the season 4-0. Very possible.
Yeah. And then they got Maryland next, winnable game.
Maryland at home, very winnable.
I think, we'll see if Maryland plays dirty that game.
Yikes. Do you start out 5-0 then maybe? And then I don't think you win that Indiana game, and then Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State,
Yeah, there's no offense. I'm not giving. Well, I don't know who's on this team yet next year, but there's no shot for Ohio State.
I would even say the same with Wisconsin. They just had the guys up.
But there's an Illinois game in between there though.
Yeah.
So I mean, 6 wins before week 6, 7, 6 wins in week 7. I mean, or 8, whatever it is. I'm losing track. But there is some tough ones. Indiana, Ohio State back-to-back's tough. Wisconsin, Northwestern back-to-back, very tough. Michigan State at home, and then ended on the good old Penn State Beaver Stadium. Hopefully we can go to some of these games next year. I kind of want to see Beaver Stadium, to be honest. Maybe Ann Arbor actually sounds pretty fun too. All right, guys, if you have any questions, anything, we're going to do an Ask the Experts on Wednesday. Bunch of previews that are coming out for hoops for Wednesday night at 7:30, I think it is. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, I mean, any final thoughts?
No, man, it's just football season. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad well, I'm not glad it's over technically, but they made it through, without any issues compared to everybody else. They exceeded expectations. Hoops is playing well right now. The women's team won like 99-30 last night. So
saw that. Yeah, that was so bad.
So,
but then also wrestling after the new year. I'm so hyped, but at the same time I'm not, because I don't know who's gonna wrestle. Is Suriano back? Is Seabass gonna do it without a crowd? We don't know. But it sounds like there's going to be a couple out of conference matchups. Not 100% sure against who just yet, but Lex is going to post some more on that soon. Guys, stay tuned. If you didn't subscribe already, subscribe. It's one. I always do this. It's one of these two buttons. I don't know which one. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're posting nonstop stuff. I'm getting an interview coming up with a former Rutgers running back. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but we're going to hint at it. Former Rutgers / NFL running back, actually. Very good player. We're going to do a Zoom interview with him soon. Actually, I'm supposed to do that in 5 minutes. So after Lex is going to have wrestling stuff. Chris is going to have basketball, more football stuff, end of the season, recap, awards. Yeah. All right. Stay tuned, guys.